Okay. Well, here we are back in the breeding shed. It's a little sooner than I thought, but I'm just really eager to get some successful breeding happening. And I've had a couple of people now tell me that, barring the over 100-degree stuff, which isn't supposed to happen very often around here, the heat shouldn't really bother them as long as they're, well protected from direct sunlight and that kind of thing. So, and the other thing is, I have a bunch of females that have all gone into brooding mode. You can see from this little girl right here, her beak is a nice brown color. So, let's talk about the pairs I got out here. This is Storm and his little girl Azul. He actually raised her. She was fostered to him and his mate, who was an albino. And he raised her. She was the oldest chick that he raised. All of the babies that he raised were girls. And there's a whole bunch of them in here. She is Rainbow's daughter, in case you can't tell. She is a single-factor Spangle, single-factor Cobalt, single-factor Yellowface, too. He is a single-factor Spangle. And he's either a mauve or a gray. I don't know which. But I'm hoping for some interesting stuff out of this. I would love to get a double factor Spangle, which from these two would be pure white, that has the yellow face on it, because then it will be cream colored all over. Pretty rare. Go through all kinds of other interesting stuff too. So they picked each other in the big flight cage 4 or 5 months ago, when she was still like 4 months old. She's 9 months old now. His albino mate died a couple of weeks after the babies fledged. She had a stroke. She was 5 years old, and had been probably bred to death before I bought her and him together as a pair. And I brought her in and brought him into with her, and he took lovely care of her, and after about a week or so, she looked like she might be improving, but then she died. So he's been a widower, and when I put him back out in the flight cage, he picked up on this little girl. Now, if you're looking at them closely, you will see that he has a whole lot of feather, but he is significantly smaller than her. She, on the other hand, is a beast, just like her mother. Her mother actually weighs over 90 grams, almost 100 grams. It was like 97. She's not that big yet, but she's only 9 months old, and she weighs a hefty 70 grams. So I'm sure she's going to get that big eventually. He is a runt. He only weighs about 55 grams, but he has a beautiful feather and a lovely disposition. He's a very tame bird. He's about 4 or 5 years old now, but that's not going to stop him, as you can see. These two have just been reunited. I had them in the divided cage, she on the girl's side and he on the boy's side, and I've just reunited them, and they are clearly so happy to be together in this cage. Here's another pair that picked each other out a long time ago in the flight cage. This is Pastel and Beryl. They picked each other out, again, 6 months ago or so. I separated them and put them in the divided cage. I wasn't going to use her to breed him because when she was younger, she was smaller. And I didn't think she was going to achieve the size of her sister and her mother. And he is, again, look at the feather on that guy. It's spectacular, but he's scrawny. He's the tiniest little bird I've ever seen. Yeah, I think he weighs only in the high 40s as far as grams go, and he's just not getting any bigger. He's over a year old now, and she's 9 months. She, again, weighs 60-something grams. She's not as big as her sister, but she's not done yet either. And the yellow face isn't going to have any effect on these two, except that they are both Spangles. He's an opaline Spangle, and she's a straight Spangle. She is not a Cobalt, so these are either going to be blue babies or light green babies. We have no dark factors going here. But my biggest thing is getting his feather on a bird her size. So that's the hope, and they seem to be perfectly happy to go there. Okay, let's see. Out of my I have a few pairs in the big flight that never got a chance to really breed before. I pulled these two. This is Lilith and Razzle, and they decided that they liked each other. And but I pulled them because of the heat before they ever got around to laying any eggs. But they have been out in the big flight, carrying on like, you know, birdies in love. And she has not just a tan crusty sear, it's dark brown. She has been ready to go for months now. So I thought I'd bring them in and let them stay and have their shot. And here's these two. Again, this is Coco and Porky. But these two I was trying to breed back when I had Giardia. She laid like 8 eggs. None of them hatched. She was sick as can be. So I pulled the whole thing. But for several different reasons, I'm not at all sure that there's any kind of fertility problem here. Then I brought them in again towards the right when the heat wave hit, and they actually got together and she laid an egg. 1 egg, but I pulled them and threw them back out again because it was going to be 103 for another 2 weeks. So it's been about a month or 6 weeks since the last big heat wave. We're sliding into August. Temperatures are starting to drop. It's getting a lot cooler at night, and we shouldn't get much over 90 anymore. For the fingers crossed. So now they're going to get their chance again, and hopefully we'll have a little better luck this time because they're both hale and hearty, and they love each other dearly, and she is ready for some babies. Okay, let's see. Then I have some interesting stuff going on here. I haven't made a video on it yet, but I have some Texas Clearbodies. This, if you can see Limey down there, you see how his face and his chest match. But his back is light green, like a regular light green bird. He's a Texas Clearbody. That's the hallmark of that. They also tend to have lighter wings with gray tips. But the big thing about the Texas Clearbody is their breast, all the way down, should be pretty much the same color as their face. So that it's clear of color, and they only have color on their backs. Limey. His history is kind of interesting. So these are rare birds. He would get shown in, see that? Face color goes all the way down the front of him. That's a Clearbody. And he's obviously a light green. So Limey's an interesting one. When I got Storm up here with his albino female, they had 1 live chick in the nest and 3 eggs. Well, the 3 eggs never hatched. But this, Limey, was the live chick. Now, they were sold to me as a pair with eggs in the nest. So, you know, Storm is a white-based gray or a white-based mauve, one of the two. And his lady was an albino. There is no way that this Texas Clearbody came out of them. So the guy must have switched chicks or eggs or something so that I ended up with a Texas Clearbody. Which I am not upset about at all because they're pretty rare birds. And this guy is actually a pretty nice-looking bird. He's got good size, he's very fluffy, and just generally a nice looking boy. So what happens with the rares is people don't know how to outbreed rares, so they'll collect 2 rares, like 2 Texas Clearbodies, and breed them to each other. And they tend to get them from, you know, they're doing the inbreeding thing. Because if you breed a Texas Clearbody to a different kind of bird, they're not going to get a bunch of Texas Clearbody babies. It's a sex-linked recessive trait. So you have to know what you're doing genetically in order to outbreed them and then and create a breeding population. So I have a beautiful specimen here. Limey's he's also very goofy. He's always been one of my tamest birds. He loves to play in my hair and that kind of thing. And he's never met this girl before in his life. And I can't say that. They were actually brought up in the same nest. She's a yellowface. But they haven't seen each other in a very long time, and neither of them ever showed any romantic interest in each other. So this is going to be a pair that'll take a while, but not too long. So anyway, what happens with the rares is that people are afraid to breed them to something that will make their traits disappear for a generation in order to breed them to bigger, healthier birds. So they breed into each other, and they become so inbred that they become absolutely teeny. I lucked out here with Limey. He's a beautiful, big, fluffy boy. But take a look at this girl. She has a lovely shape and beautiful feather, but this is a tiny, tiny little bird. And she can't fly. I don't know what's up with that, but she just can't. So, she's also a Texas Clearbody. She's a gray-green. Either that or an olive, but I'm pretty sure a gray-green, actually. She's got, you see they've got the gray, her flight feathers are gray. Her normal, see how her face color goes all the way down her breast. That's a Texas Clearbody. All of her other markings are basically normal. She has a nice little shape to her, and she has beautiful feathers. But she's tiny, and she can't fly. I don't know why she can't fly. She's been through her entire quarantine now, and I put her out in the flight cage, and she started getting better at flying. She got to a point where she could at least do, graceful falling. So she didn't crash land anymore. She would glide downwards, but she certainly isn't flying upwards at any point. So, I got a tiny, itty-bitty little Texas Clearbody female and a reasonably good-looking Texas Clearbody male. Am I going to breed them together? Heck no. It's not easy to find these birds, and if I breed the two of them together, then the best I'm going to get is all they've got to offer. I need these birds bigger, I need their feather better, and I need broader, and I need to not inbreed. So, I'm outbreeding. So, I take her, she has a beautiful feather and a nice little shape. You see how her breast sticks out like that? She looks good. But she's teeny, and she doesn't fly very well. So what do? I match her up with Blue. This is Blue. He's twice her size. He flies like an F-16 fighter jet. And his fancy is just never going to get around to doing anything. So Blue's an older bird. He's about 4. The guy that sold me this girl told me she was one of his chicks. Then I looked at her band the other day. She has a black band. She's actually 5 years old. But if they're in good health, there isn't any reason why a 5-year-old hen shouldn't be able to make any babies. So this is kind of a senior couple, and they've never seen each other before in their lives. So again, it may take a while, but Blue's pretty much ready and raring to go. And I think if she will show some interest in that box, we'll be in good shape. So I'm going to breed her. I'm outbreeding her to Blue. I want, first of all, I like white-based birds, especially with the Clearbody thing. It looks really nice. So I'm going to bring in a white-based male. He's twice her size. He flies great, and he's a hale, hardy guy. His feather is not great, but hers is. So now this is a sex-linked trait. Texas Clearbody is a sex-linked trait. So, what's going to happen when I breed these two together? I'm going to get a bunch of normal chicks. Every single chick that these two have will look normal. They'll either be normal greens or normal blues if she's split to blue. So how does that get me more Texas Clearbodies? Well, as a sex-linked trait, the females have a really hard time passing the gene on to their babies. Sex-linked traits are much more easily passed on by the males. But what will happen is that all of their sons, although they will look like normal birds, will be split to Texas Clearbodies. The daughters will be completely useless. There will be no trace of Clearbody in them at all, and I will sell them off as regular birds. But the sons, they'll be big. I'm looking for a big, strong, hardy male that's split to Texas Clearbody. And then I'll take it and match it up with these guys. Now, again, sex-linked trait. I'm breeding him to a normal. She has a yellow face, so that's kind of irrelevant. She's a big, hardy female. She's even bigger than he is, but not by much. He's a hefty guy. They're both in great shape. I'm expecting good things here. So he's a male, so he's going to have a much easier time passing on the Clearbody trait to his offspring. His sons will all be split to Texas Clearbody. They'll look normal, but they'll be split to Texas Clearbody. His daughters will all be Texas Clearbody chicks. So his Clearbody trait trumps his the normal hen in the female babies. So what do? I take his babies that are 100% Texas Clearbody and breed them, his baby girls, and they'll show that they're Texas Clearbodies, and breed them to Blue's baby boys that are split to Texas Clearbody. And then I can pick out the biggest, the healthiest. I'm injecting a whole bunch of new, strong, well-flighted, well-shaped genes into this. Whereas if I just tried to breed her to Limey, the babies would get smaller instead of bigger. So I'm adding size, I'm adding health and vitality, and mixing up the gene pool so that I can start. It's going to take me 2 generations, but I will start my own Texas Clearbody line. I also have one more Texas Clearbody hen in the house. She's a white-based, and I'll show her to you pretty soon. But so this is my Texas Clearbody breeding program, starting right here, right now. I really hope that this hen is going to decide Blue's okay and lay me some eggs. She's a little on the older side. I may not get a huge fertility count out of her, but all I need is one solid male, and that'll be enough. So, come on, Blue, do your job.